I lost you guys. I'm sorry. I think the network is bad, or I pressed something. So I was talking about grief. So I was saying that today we are here on behalf of my family, the extended Ogwenyi family or Obegi family. I'm here to inform you guys that I lost my cousin here in Baltimore, and we are in the process of trying to send him home for burial. And the funeral is scheduled for next week on the 18th. So if you're in Baltimore, you're welcome to come and support us emotionally. And we have a fundraiser that is going on in Delaware for those of you who can support us, because we have to send my cousin back home. You're all so welcome. So we were not able to continue with our show today, but I saw something as I was browsing through Facebook that I thought I should share about grief. I thought this was interesting. I found it a few days after my cousin had passed away. And I was, Meshach, how are you? And I was reading, I was trying to find something comforting, because this is a hard time for me. And I wanted something just to uplift me. So as I was going through the chats, I saw someone who had put something about grief. So I said, let me take a minute and read it, because grief, it doesn't mean also only death. You can lose a relationship. You just went through a divorce. You could just have lost your child. You could have lost a job. You could have lost a friendship. There are many things that we lose. So we associate, many times we associate grief with death. But grief is not only death, but it's when you lose something that you cared so much about, and you no longer have it. I just want to bring this a little closer. The light is reflecting. You might no longer have it. Sometimes you could lose your family member to sickness, meaning they had an accident and now they can't walk. You could lose a project you were doing. Maybe you were farming and you lost everything. So grief comes in many different ways, and it does different things. So there is nobody who is stronger than the other. I think we all feel the pain. Even in the animal kingdom, when they lose their loved ones, you see some animals show emotion. They come and surround the animal that was either killed or died. So even animals go through grief. So I was going through this reading, and I found this, and I thought there was some words of encouragement here. So the writer starts with, don't die with your dead. Whatever you have lost, don't die with it. And they're asking a question. Did you know that when you cry for the dead, you cry for you, not for them? When people die, they cannot see us. As far as we know, they are not seeing us. They cannot respond. But we can see their body, but we don't know where their soul is. And we always want to believe as Christians that they've gone to heaven. And so when you're crying for someone who is not actually responding. You're hoping that they are somewhere, you'll meet them someday, but there is no way for them to come to where you are. You're going to go to where they are. And then they continue to say, you cry because you lost them, because you don't have them by your side. You're crying because whatever you lost is no longer there. You're crying if it's a marriage, you're no longer married. You're crying if it's a job, you're no longer employed. You're crying because if it's a friendship, you will no longer call them to talk to them the way you used to call them. So you're crying because that particular person or that particular thing that you have lost is not by your side. You think it all ends in death, and you think they are not anymore, which is true. When my cousin died, when I was told my cousin is no more, I actually knew that was it. That's it. There's nothing more. So we cry because we know there is nothing more. So if the dead are gone, the writer asks, where did they go? We want to believe as Christians that they went to heaven. But who knows? Where is the heaven? Who knows where they have gone? We do not know. But we know that they have gone somewhere. Hello. Say hi. What's up? Are you going with your dad?
What do you go to?
Same. I was going to clean up.
You want to clean up?
Yeah, same. I want to clean up.
Are you going with him?
You said you have to get the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can I wanted to clean the room too.
You want to clean the room?
Yeah,
Well, okay. Sorry for the interruption. So, where are they gone? Then they continue to ask, yes, they have left us, or they are now in another place. Is that place a better place than this? Who knows where they went, like really? We are going to bury them underground. When things go underground, they are gone. Unless it's a plant, then it's going to grow back. Do we know where they are gone? We don't even know where this place is. Is there another place? We don't know. And then other people tend to think, or rather this writer thinks that we tend to think that where they have gone is a better place. How do we know it's a better place? We are just assuming it's a better place. When you have finished accepting that they are no longer there, but they are still in another place, and even a better place than where you are, and there, where they will be no longer sick if they were sick, or they're no longer in pain if they were suffering, then you'll stop mourning them and you'll get them back in memory so they can keep accompanying you with the joy of all that you have lived. If you truly love them again, and this time with greater strength, greater purity, with greater delivery. Today there will be no more reproach of any kind. Only love will be essence between you and between those people that you have lost. I respect and we respect people's pain and the way they express it. I know you will cry. You will cry without comfort. But today, I saw you. Don't die with your loved one. Don't die, because when you die, other people are going to mourn you. Remember, we are only seeing one side. We don't see the other side where the person has gone. We see one side of the coin, but the other side of the coin is impossible for us to see. We are not looking for the other side. We are not looking forward to go to the other side because we don't look forward to die. But we are hoping that someday when we go to the other side, we will see our loved ones. We will hope that they will be happy to see us and we'll be happy to see them. As much as we want to believe that is true, we do not know if that's true because we don't know where these people have gone. What if we start seeing death as a second rebirth? Just thinking that, you know what, they went to another place. I don't know where they went. Don't die with your dead. Honor them by living your life as they would have wanted you to live. and keep living until someday you're gonna die and the rest who are left behind will mourn you. Life is for those who are living, for the dead are gone. I thought that was nice. I don't know who the writer is. They didn't put their name. But I thought that was something nice to, to read. So when we lose our loved ones, we go through like stages of grief. We have the denial stage, we have the anger, we have where we are going back and forth against stage, we go through depression. And eventually sometimes we come into acceptance stage and be like, you know what, this has happened. So we always try to support one another, because unfortunately loss does not happen to just one person. Loss happens to a lot of people. And loss is something that everybody who's human must go through sometime. So come into terms that yes, you have gone through loss, and let your family and friends support you during your grief. Be honest that yes, you have had loss. Be honest that you need support. Don't be in denial. Come into terms and accept that, you know what, I can't just do this alone. You don't want to sit there and drown yourself in alcohol or in depression or in bed. Just come into terms and agree that, you know what, this is not good, I need support. If you can, because you're looking forward to get support from family and friends, try to make a list of some of the things that you might need. Like in my case, now I need your emotional and financial support to take my cousin to Kenya. So for those who are able to help, come out. If it's prayer, outline, let people know that, sometimes when you're in crisis, you're not able to pray. Pray for one another. When you're not able to pray, ask somebody to pray for you. Seek emotional support. Talk about your loved one. Let people know the memories or the things that you shared with your loved one. If it's a marriage is not always 100% that you have lost. Marriages have good things and bad things. But when people go through a divorce, they tend to remember the bad things. They don't remember the good things that they had together before their marriage ended. If it's possible, involve a professional. You can talk to a therapist, you can talk to a pastor, you can talk to a church elder, talk to someone, or you can talk to a doctor, you can talk to a nurse. Seek professional help if need be, because when you're in crisis, you're the only one who knows what kind of feelings you have within inside. We can judge you or we can talk about what's on the inside, but most of the time it's what's on the inside that matters, because we are not able to get inside you to know that you're going through crisis. And when you get to talk to a therapist, that's when you'll find out, because their job is to help people go through some challenges, because mental illness or mental wellness is such a broad thing. We don't take it seriously because it's not visible. It's not, you cannot test it with a blood. You cannot test it like high blood pressure. You can't just test your mental illness status. People don't have a way. You can't just, it's not easy. It takes a combination of things and a questionnaire for people to go through things to find out that they are not mentally stable. And by the time sometimes people find out that they are mentally unstable, they have done a lot of damage, because mental illness is not visible. Mental illness is not like something somebody can just say, oh, you know what, I've been thinking to harm people. You know what, I've been feeling angry. You know what, I've just been feeling like I don't need to live anymore. it's not visible. And you know, we don't even have, especially the Africans, we don't have a way to even think. We don't even get there. We are not thinking that we are mentally unstable. We all think, everybody thinks they're okay. Unless you go get tested for malaria, you get tested for diabetes, you get tested something that has a machine. So we are yet to come up, the scientists are yet to come up with a machine that is going to measure how sick people are. And if they are sick, what kind of medication they can take. So that is yet to be discovered, and that's yet to be put in the market so people can get the diagnosis. So turn to experts and do like a check, call and care. Review yourself, the things you're doing. You might need some support. Create time for you to do that review. You have to create time. You're not going to know what your mental status are like if you don't create time to reflect on yourself, to look on yourself and see how you're doing. And sometimes we go by acting and feeling that we are okay, but we are not okay. It took me a long time to just start feeling like I need to take care of myself. I started this in 2012 because especially women, we get caught up in trying to do everything for other people but ourselves. And you know, women, we give up so much. We go above and beyond. We make sacrifices, our mothers, and we are taking it over from our mothers. It took me a long time to just finally come into terms that really, as much as I thought that I was doing this, I don't even know what I was doing all that for my children. Quickly the children grow and go. Quickly your husband, I mean, most of the time men are not emotionally connected with their wives because they have the sports, they are fed up with the women. Most men are not emotionally there. They are not present for the mothers because a mother has so many demands on this man, and in the process, the men find an outlet, and then they leave us with the kids, and that's it. And for the rest of your life, it's just you and your mother. You and your mother. Your mom and your dad, or parents, especially, you know, the men and women who are raising young children, they don't see eye to eye because women are making all these demands, and in the process, this is how men end up going to find other women to fill that void because they're constantly going back and forth with the women. The women are frustrated. You go to work 40 hours, he works 40 hours, but when you come home, you still have to cook and clean. You still have to do laundry. You still have to do this, food shopping. You have all these things you're doing in the name of the family, but meanwhile, you've neglected yourself. So create time for you, and that's the only way you're going to find out that, you know, your mental status is good or bad. Be optimistic. This morning, I was thinking about a few people that I watch on Facebook, and I happen to find them. Every time they're talking about haters. So anytime they do a video, I notice, you know how you always maybe find me, and you find me maybe with a chicken, or I'm somewhere. Like I do a lot of things, but you see, most of my time I'm here, you know, I come live. So basically, then they must set time to come. Maybe I think they come, I just find them randomly. But these people, every time I found them, they're talking about haters. Oh, watch your haters. Oh, be careful with people who hate you, hate you, hate you. Those kind of topics seem to attract a lot of people. When people talk about things that have annoyed them, or people that have done things to them, even me, when I talk about people who have annoyed me, even my family, I talk about my family here, I talk about co-workers, I talk about everything here, okay? And that's a choice, I said that before. So you find that when I've spoken about negativity, especially things that are annoying, people tend to like that. So I just want to put it out there, be more aware. Although that's the reality of life, there's negativity, but be careful. All these people you watch, every time they just want to to talk about negativity. So find a spin in your life and find someone or in a page that even just, there's a pastor I watch that he's in Atlanta. He's a skater, Pastor V. He's a skating pastor. Like all he does is meet weekends and on the weekends and skate. He just skates. He has skating conventions around the world. Last week he was in London. And he likes dancing. And he's not only dancing to religious music, he's dancing to Michael Jackson. He looks like he's in his 60s or late 50s. And this pastor, all he does is dance. And he's cute, he's fit, he's looking great. And he travels around with the wife. And they just put a smile on my face. Because all they're doing, they're spilling optimism. Optimism. Be optimistic. Watch people that tell you positive things. Don't always be watching these people every time you turn around, they're talking about haters. Pay attention to your mind and soul. Pay attention to what you feed yourself. Pay attention to the things that you allow to come through you, especially when you're going through your grieving moment. Educate yourself about yourself. Know what you want. When you know what you want, it kind of, half the time it solves the problem. It took me, I think I should say, I always say 2 years in the marriage to know that those things I thought my husband was going to give me, he wasn't. I don't even know who told me he was to give me those things. I don't know who told me that that is how marriage was supposed to be. I have no idea where I got all those things from. I just found myself wanting this and wanting that. And I quickly learned that my husband didn't care as much as I cared. Because what I cared for, he didn't care about that. And most of us girls run away from our homes when our parents are trying to discipline us, when our parents are trying to teach us the way. We run away and we get married in hopes that you're going to find a man that's going to love you and change your world. While that can be true to some extent, but at a bigger picture, it is not true. Because that young man that you're meeting is also coming from his parents. He's also thinking, if I marry my wife, she's going to give me a lot of sex, then I don't have to keep looking for sex. I'm going to have sex every day. And I'm going to have my wife cook for me. And I'm going to have my wife make sure my house is clean. All these things men are thinking about wives, only for them to marry Penina, or only for them to marry Kwamboka or Mora, and find out that all those things they were thinking about are not true. Sex is once a month. Sex is every 3 months. Sex is maybe once a year. I mean, like, different couples are having a different sex frequency. So now, we grow up thinking that life is going to be full of roses. Like beautiful roses. I gave myself flowers in the shade. I bought myself flowers, okay? And this time, I got 3 colors. I got pink, and I got red. This is a red, and orange. Kind of like the fall colors mixed in, and there's a little touch of white there. So, when I went to the produce to buy these flowers, I decided while there what I'm going to buy. Okay, I decided I want mixed flowers because the season is ending, and at the same time, different colors bring different feelings. So I picked a variety. I learned to give myself flowers because you know what? I like flowers, not all the time, but I didn't care that my husband brought them. I do not have that desire for my husband to go and buy flowers and bring me flowers. No. But I like flowers. And I like flowers when I go and buy them. There are some of you who want your men to go buy you flowers. That's the expectation that you have put there. Meanwhile, my expectations are slightly different. My expectation, number one, I can say I just want someone who has respect for me. There's no need for anyone to bring me flowers and then they disrespect me. So my number one demand is going to be respect. So be careful, don't want flowers and then somebody is going to disrespect you after they bring you flowers. Some of you, your number one could be maybe money. Some of you, it could be religion. Some of you, maybe it could be tall. Some of you, handsome. Some of you, flat tummy. I know one who's telling me right now she can never ever marry a man that snores. I don't know if he starts snoring a few months down the road, what they're going to do. But these are the expectations we put on each other as a couple, as couples. And then we find ourselves so stressed over things that are not real. In the process, we get anxiety because it's Friday. You're thinking, oh, maybe today is going to come home with flowers. Maybe today is going to do this for me. Or maybe today she's going to give me that sex. Men are busy at work hoping that when they get home tonight, they can get some sex. Some men are living a sexless life. They don't want to buy sex. They're trying to beg for sex at work. And you know, once you have sex at work and they tell on you, you're likely to lose your job. So some men are like anxious during the day, hoping that, oh, by tonight, I hope she can give me. It's that miserable. So when we are stressed and we get anxious, then now we fall into depression. Once you've gone into depression, it's hard to get you out because now you've given up. You're giving up or you've given up. You're like, whatever happens, happens, because you actually feel burnt out completely. You're living a hopeless life now. Until maybe you find a friend who's going to call you and say, Judy, how are you? Can we do lunch? Until you find a friend that calls you, Mary, where are you? How have you been? Go to your contacts. That's why on Wednesday, on Gratitude Wednesday, I tell you guys that try to remember your friends. Call them, check on them, because you might call your friend just about that time that they are slipping into depression and you lift them. Sometimes you just call to laugh. Sometimes you just call to let your frustrations out. Like now my cousin has died. And I don't know if you guys have spoken to someone who has lost a loved one. When you speak to someone who has lost a loved one that they love, naturally, they start telling you about their loved one. Oh, you know what? My uncle, my cousin, my brother, my mom. When we call someone who's going through grief, be ready to listen and listen and listen. When somebody is going through a loss, listen and listen. It is painful. It's devastating. Just let them talk. That's what therapists do. We pay the therapists to listen to us. Anybody picks the phone to call you and tell you how their child has dropped out of school, listen. Anybody who calls you to tell you that they are going through a divorce, listen. Be good and be good and be good at reminding yourself to listen. Someone who's calling you, they have just gone through a broken relationship with their parents. Their parents who are demonic out here. So I call you to tell you, me and my mom are no longer talking. Immediately you start telling me, how can you not talk to your mom? Who doesn't talk? You judge me. You start throwing why, because this, and you start giving me advice. You don't know my mother. I'm the one who's grown up with my mother. I know the pain. So for you to decide that, you know, I'm the one who's wrong, is wrong. When I pick the phone to call you to tell you about my mother, or my sister, or my brother, or my husband, Just listen. Sometimes you just need to listen. That's all. Nothing much. Listen. Because now, I was telling my friend who has small children, I call her. Before I was calling her, I would call her. Or rather, she'll call me and then I call her back. And she'll find me in a crisis, an adult child crisis. And every time, you know, she'll ask me what happened, I tell her. Her responses were so childish. Not because she's childish, because she has small children. So I told her, moving forward, I shouldn't discuss my children with you because she does not understand. Because whatever advice she's giving me is the last advice you want to be given when you have an adult child that you're trying to redirect. If your adult child is having a meltdown, then somebody tells you, just throw them out. I mean, why are you going to keep dealing with that? So when I throw this child out, they are going to go to a mental facility. They are probably going to medicate them. You are having children who are going through all this because it's in your house. Then you call a woman, a single woman who doesn't have children, a woman who has a newborn, a woman who has a 10-year-old, who is still in control of her children. And it wasn't her fault that she was responding that way. She's responding that way because that's what she knows. But when people call you, try to listen, even if they are not in your age group, even if you're not going through the same thing, just listening. Because some of the crises that the person is calling you about, you will experience them someday. Or your grandchildren. Just try to listen because people want a safe space to talk about the incident they have just gone through. It is painful to lose something that you loved, or to lose someone that you love, to lose a nice job that you really thought you were on top of your career. Then your supervisor calls you and tells you you no longer need your services, and yet you've been giving your 100%. So listen without judgment. Just listen in. It's not easy when you're going through a crisis. It is very, very hard. That is why we tell people that try to create a network so when you fall, they'll pick you. Try to create a support system. When things go down, people are there for you. Because the relationship that you build when you're not in crisis is the same relationship that is going to hold you when you're in crisis. Because things do change. You can have an accident and you don't die. Your child can have an accident, you're forced to work, and you take what in America we call FMLA. But a few of us will come together and raise money for you to pay your house until you get back to work. You don't know what crisis is coming your way. So take that time when other people are going through their crisis, support them, hold them, pray for them, organize whatever things they need to get organized with. And at the end, when it's going to happen to you, they'll also be there. And always remember that, Simba, stop. What has happened to other people can always happen to you. It might not be the same, but each one of us is going to suffer some kind of loss. And when it's your turn, you will need... Simba, Kenya, stop. Stop it. Come here. Come. Come here. Stay here. You want to come too? Here. Say hi. These dogs are the ones making noise. Say hello. Look there. Say hi. These are my children. Kenya. This is Kenya. And this is Simba. You good? Yeah? No. Stop backing. Look there. Say hi. Okay? So, Also, for those of you who don't know, animal therapy is very good. If you don't have a dog, think of getting a dog. Dogs help you go through so many things. They don't talk, but dogs are loving. And dogs are always one-sided love. They can bite a stranger, but they will always be there for you. When you don't feel like talking, they'll make you talk. Because when you come home, they run to you. You see now they're barking because they saw people walking by. Stop, Kenya. So guys, have a nice evening. Oh, let me do this. You need to. If you've not liked my page, please do that. I truly appreciate your support. Let me see. Let me see. Thanks for your continued support, and please make it a nice week. Don't be so discouraged. If you feel discouraged, find a way to be strong and be optimistic. Okay? Say bye, guys. Say bye-bye. Oh, Selma, 2 little dogs. Say bye. Okay, guys, have a nice week, and please remember to pray for us. And if you're in Baltimore, I'll be in Baltimore over the weekend to say goodbye to my cousin. Come out there and be of support to us, because remember that song that says, lean on me when you're not strong? I'll need somebody to lean on me, okay? And when you're not strong, I will allow you to lean on me. It's a tit for tat. It's a different situation, different times. When your time is going to come, I'll make sure that I'm with you, okay? Remember that song of, who is that? Michael Bolton. When you're not strong, lean on me. Look at these dogs. Go, Kenya. Go. Simba, say goodbye. That's Simba. You need grooming. Goodbye. Okay, guys, have a nice week.